satin pillow rollers. I got these from Amazon in like a 40 pack. They were very cheap. They're really easy to use. So for the top, I sectioned it off right here in a horseshoe shape. And then I did all of these ones. These ones I rolled away from the face, so back that way. The sides are all rolled down, so under, this way. And the back is also rolled down and under. So I'll turn so you can see how I've got it. I did kind of a classic brick pattern, just so I don't have any gaps. And then turn so you can see the back. Okay, so I let these dry. I rolled them overnight. You can see in my wet set tutorial, like the first one, that's how I rolled it. This time I used the in-wrap papers. Wanted to see how well that worked for me. So if you have layers, sometimes that helps. Make sure your curl is completely dry. If it's even slightly damp, you don't want to brush them out. Luckily for this one, we are not brushing out the curls. Usually I do. So this time you just take them all out smoothly. Maybe, if they don't get caught in your hair. Just keep moving them out. The Poodle Updo is really nice because you don't actually have to take the time to brush everything out. It's a great one to do for like day one of your set. So it'll be really tight and coily like this, and then tomorrow it'll be a little bit looser. So if you don't brush it out, then you get an extra day out of it. So that's kind of nice. So I usually do this on first or second day of the set. Okay, leave it like this, and then we'll get our product and we will apply that, and then I will show you how we do it. Okay, so for our products, I like to use this stuff. It smells amazing, and it's really lightweight. It doesn't weigh down your curls. Makes them nice and glossy, no frizz. So I just use like the tiniest bit. Rub it around on my hands like this. And then you just kind of smooth out each curl. Mostly focusing on your ends. Ooh, it smells so good. Okay, so we're going to kind of fuzz them with our hands like this, but not brush through it. So it kind of softens them and loosens them a little bit so that we can direct them which way we want to go. Okay, so once you got that all done, I use a teasing brush most of the time. And then let me grab my pins to show you. Whenever I do a Poodle Updo, a lot of times in the back, I will use these longer bobby pins. I'll compare them with a regular one just so you could see. So I use the bigger ones in the back and kind of crisscross lock them in place. So I'm going to turn upside down. Use your teasing brush. And then smooth everything up. Be kind of forceful with it. Push, push, push. And you're going to have spots that don't agree with you, like right there. The same with the sides. You're not coming all the way up. You're just getting to about here and stopping. So you do that all the way around the back. And I usually take it up to about here on my head. Just past the occipital bone, more at the crown area. And then smooth again. Get it as best you can. We'll touch it up as we go. And then I take the pen. Do it across the back. Keep holding it, because if you let go, it'll all go everywhere. And then I'm going to do this one from this way. And push it over. And then if you need to, you can always add an extra one. Sometimes it's hard to get them in there just right. Okay, so I got the back up. It's not perfect, but that's okay because these curls, we are going to roll them and they're going to kind of cover that area anyway. So now we kind of do the same here on the side. And if you want it to be more one-sided, you could do that where it kind of falls down on the one side. But for now, go ahead and just take it all the way to the same point, about the same height as you did back here. Keep smoothing and brushing in that direction. I have hairs, little baby hairs that like refuse to listen, so I feel your pain if you have those. Once I get to the sides, I tend to use like a curved bobby pin. Put it like, I don't know if you can see. Ta-da! That one's got a little bend in it. It helps to hug on the surface a little better. Takes a couple of them usually. 2. And then we're going to do another one at the back where everything connects. Haboom. And if you want it further over here, you just don't brush it up as high. It's pretty easy. I like to have some of it fall on my face because I feel like I have kind of a large forehead. So I like to have them hanging this way. But anyway, while you're done with that, go ahead and move over to this side. Do the same thing. Forcefully kind of comb it upward. I like this brush because it's got, see how it has the longer teeth? And then it has the shorter ones. The shorter ones, if you could really get in there, it helps just smooth really nicely. So do that again to the same point or as high as you want it. I usually do general rules. I try to do it to the point of my eyebrow. On each side is kind of my guideline. So again, we're going to use the curved bobby pins. I really like this hairstyle though. It's super comfortable. You could sleep on it. It sits high enough on your head most of the time. It doesn't get too fuzzy overnight. Even if you don't wrap it, it usually holds up pretty good. It lasts a few days, relatively easy. You don't have to do a 40-minute to an hour brush out with some of the other styles that I like to do. So that's always nice. So if you're in a pinch, you could always do this. And then you could brush it out the next day and do a totally different style. But anyway, that's kind of how you get the overall shape. Feel around the back. If your pins aren't laying correctly, you could always adjust them. It's a little easier once you have the bulk of the hair out of the way. Okay, so once you've got that all done, I usually take, oh damn it, I knocked it over. I use this. I love the Suavecita pomade, but it doesn't like my hair, so it just doesn't work for me. This one's a lot lighter, and I find it works really well. It's almost like a hair chapstick. So as you warm it up, it turns more to an oil versus a pomade, so it's not real thick, and it doesn't weigh it down. I take that, rub it on my hands, smooth your hair in the direction that you brushed it, all the way around. You want to try to make it as smooth as possible. After I do that, a lot of times I will take a regular old rat tail comb, and then you can just kind of perfect the back. Again, trying to make it as smooth and in the same direction as you possibly can. This works best because my hair is long enough at my back layer. So back here, if it's really short, you see my little baby hairs, these will be a problem for you. I fight them too. I usually just smooth them and paste them with a bunch of product and then hairspray the shit out of it. So if that works for you, that's what I have to do. So kind of whatever works. Anyway, once you get it to a relatively good point like that, I usually use, first I use a brushable hairspray. I really like the Freeze It brand. The brushable hairspray you can comb through. It's not as crunchy, not as heavy. And then once I'm done all together, I use the freeze spray for the finishing. It really locks it in place. So if you use that one through the whole thing, it will be too crunchy and you won't like it. So go ahead and do your spray. I kind of spray it in the direction I want it to go and then smooth with my hand. Or another trick where I showed in another video, you can use fabric softener sheets to help smooth it, because sometimes your hands will make it a little more fuzzy. So do that all the way around. Okay, so let that dry a little bit. You could lock it in place with your blow dryer on low and kind of dry it. I'm just going to let it air dry today. Once that's completely dried and you think the back is where you would like it, I recommend fixing the back in place with the freezing spray for this hairstyle. That way, once the bottom's all done, you can focus on the top and you just kind of refine the curls and pin in place. So that's what we'll do next. Okay, so we'll let that dry. And then you just kind of arrange them so they look nice on your face. Or kind of lay where you want them to. If you want them longer here, you could kind of stretch them. Or you could roll them up and make it more curly, more of a sculpted curl look, you know, with little loopies. But if you do it this way, it really works pretty well. Today, it's kind of just looks nice being kind of big and poofy. So I think I'm just going to secure this one over this direction a little bit. You can just use a regular bobby pin. The trick is with this, you want to try to hide your pins as best as possible, and anchor it in such a way that it's going to stay put. So if you have little fuzzies, another trick you could do is use this end of your rat tail comb or even of your teasing brush, and you can push the little sections down in between the curls like so, and kind of smooth it and tuck the curl wherever you want it to go. And that kind of helps you so you don't make it too fuzzy from your fingers. So just kind of go through and do that around where you want, anywhere that you think is too fuzzy. A lot of vintage hair people think is supposed to be perfectly smooth, but really, like, embrace the frizz. That's part of it. It's inevitable you're going to have some, especially if you live in a humid place. I live in Indiana and it gets hella swampy, humid here, and it makes my sets fall. So always be realistic with the weather conditions and like how long your hair is before you try to do these, or you could definitely set yourself up for failure. And if you fail the first time, try again. It took me a long time to figure out how to do this, so lots of practice. Okay, so I kind of like that, but I like it to touch my eyebrow a little bit more. Use the brushable hairspray, kind of move it. Don't spray yourself in the eyeball. It really sucks. I have done it. Not recommended. And of course, it's a lot of just messing with it until it gets where you like it. Really, it's not really a right or a wrong way. But this is kind of how I do it. That looks pretty good. The back's a little fuzzy. But, again, we can use the fabric softener sheet trick. So I've got this, just a used fabric softener sheet. Spray. These are really good for shaping and minimizing frizz. So you just kind of push on it, press until you get it where you want it. Sometimes it'll stick, and then you can, another great trick is, like, say you wanted to get in between here, you put this here and kind of push through and it'll help to put it back in place. So pretty nice little trick. Now I'm going to use the freezing spray. I don't want this to go anywhere. So we're going to lock it in place. I've got a little curl over here, right here, that's boinging kind of weird, so I'm going to pin it in. You could even do this look with water waving combs. They take a little bit of practice though to get them to stay. Sometimes I do if I have like big areas, like right here. If you really don't like that, you could easily use one of those. This is what I mean by water waving comb. This is just a little cheapy one from the dollar store. The trick is you want to do it below where you're going to want it. And then smooth up. See how it's got the cupped edge? You want that to be against your head when it's done. So it kind of helps to lock bigger chunks in place. Most of the time if I do that, it's in the back, just because most of the time, as long as the front looks good, I'm not too concerned about the back. And you can always, like I run my finger up under the edge here, there, and kind of fix that back in place. Go through and do that. And you can even kind of hold it while it dries. That seems to help. And then, like I said, if you want it taller or you want it more towards your face, you could even just like kind of grab it, pull it around. There. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? Nice, easy poodle updo. And it didn't take too long. Pretty easy to do. But yeah, so if you have any questions or any requests, feel free to message or leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.